Thanks, everybody, for joining us. This is Zach Mabry and Heath Shanahan. We're going to be your announcers for this evening. The Detroit Mechanix travel to Indianapolis to play the AlleyCats, and we're up for an interesting game tonight. The Detroit Mechanix only brought 14 players tonight, which, as you know, playing Ultimate for many years, that becomes difficult. Having less players on the field means, or less players on the bench means more time out on the field, and that can get tiring, especially with these football field-sized Ultimate fields we're playing with in the AUDL.
Yeah, 14 players is a very short roster, no matter what. When you're just playing, when you're playing any type of Ultimate, not only does it affect you on the field, but off the field you have a sideline with less energy, and it's hard to keep your energy up throughout the entire game. So that's something that the Mechanix are definitely going to struggle with as we go on throughout tonight.
Absolutely, and something interesting. The AlleyCats obviously are coming off of a big win last year, the biggest probably in franchise history. Might be stretching it a bit, because if you remember, the AlleyCats did make the championship game in year one, but definitely in the recent history, this was the biggest game. So it is one of those things where you come off a big win, and sometimes you might be overlooking the next competitor, and that's something that the Cats need to be aware of. Obviously, the Detroit Mechanix do not have a win this year, but that doesn't mean that the Mechanix are not good players. Yeah.
I mean, we see it in all kinds of sports. Basketball, football. You come off a big win the week before, you let down against a lesser opponent. All these players are still high-quality players, all still capable of making big plays. And so it's really just about execution for the AlleyCats, staying on top of their game. And I think that this is really going to be a mental test to see if they still come out with the same fire they did last week.
Definitely. And looking at the roster for the Cats this week, we do see some of the stalwarts that are taking a seat, with Zach Zebarth, who's played great this season, John Winger, Samson, all taking a seat. But stepping up and coming into the game for his first game this year that I'm aware of, Jesse Jenkins, Nathan Busberg, Colton Steiner, who's been with the team for a few years as well. And, it's going to be good to see some of that. Michael Ames, who I haven't seen play this year, getting suited up this evening. And, it's going to be fun to watch some of these. And, of course, Nick Hutton is back this week after at least 1 week off with an injury. So it's going to be fun to watch these Cats, and fun to kind of see, again, what they can do. I don't want to say rebounding, because it's hard, you don't really rebound from a big win, but, coming off of a win like they had last week, and see kind of just how they can keep that momentum going, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. This has been a great season for the AlleyCats so far, and we've seen a lot of depth, something that I don't think we've seen as much in recent years, or in years past. Big players stepping up, and like you said, with some of our regulars out, maybe we'll see Jesse Jenkins step up and make a big play. Maybe Nathan Busberg steps in and makes a few big plays. So it'll be cool to see what happens tonight.
Definitely, and something that's been kind of, I think, the story of the year a little bit as well is some of these, you see, and I think Ulti World wrote a good, or maybe it was on the AUDL's website, but they have the players who are their quote-unquote stars, who every year you know what to expect from them. But this year, you've seen Kip Curtis step up. You've seen, obviously, Rick Gross is almost a household name at this point. But Keegan North, new to the team this year, you knew he was going to be an excellent player. But seeing him out in the field now with the Cats, so you're seeing names. Spencer Loskar played great last week, that you don't normally think when you think Cats. You don't think those names, because you always think the Keenans, the Camerons, just those players who just have, the Superman. Nick Hutton, who's out there every week flying around. So, it's been very interesting to watch these Cats this year really have more of the players coming to the forefront.
Yeah, for sure. What a year for Rick, by the way. I know you mentioned him stepping up into the MVP race for sure. Last week he became the 4th player in AUDL history to be 100 assists, 100 Ds, 100 goals in his career. What a year it's been for him so far.
And it's fun to see that 100, 100, 100 club, and see, they're all Midwest, I believe, and they all, 3 of the 4 in that 100, 100 club played for the Cats.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat to see, too. And, I mean, I was here for the first year when Goose was here, and what an incredible player. Obviously, everybody knows Travis Carpenter's statistics, and Rick Gross joining that club is just it's incredible to see, and it's well deserved as well, because He worked hard every year, got a little better each year, went from the guy that when you saw him get the disc outside the end zone, you started to panic a little bit. But then now to the guy who fills in as a handler. I mean, he knows how to play and knows how to throw. It's excellent to see.
Yeah.
So we've got the starting lineups coming out now for the Indianapolis AlleyCats. Looks like we just missed the Mechanics because we were just sitting up here chatting. So we're getting ready to start this game. It's going to be, again, on paper it should be an easy win for the AlleyCats, but you never like thinking that. You never like saying that out loud either. So let's give these Detroit Mechanics the respect they deserve because they are semi-professional ultimate players here, and they wouldn't have made the team if they weren't good. And so it should be an interesting game tonight, and I'm looking forward to it myself. And I will admit right off the top, this is not my forte, being on a call like this. So sometimes I tend to ramble, sometimes I say definitely and absolutely a few too many times. I'll probably butcher a couple of the Mechanics' names, but we're going to have a good time up here. And I think this is your second time?
Yeah, this is my second time being on the live stream. I did the Indy Red game a few weeks ago. Excited to get a chance with doing the AlleyCats game. It's a lot of fun. This is my first time getting to come and see the new fields here at Grand Park. So just very exciting to be here. Very exciting to see the AlleyCats play. And be commentating with you. So
yeah, and this is a good facility. Like you mentioned the first time in here. This is my third time in here now. We've done 3 broadcasts from here, and you hear a lot of chatter around the league. Like somebody's playing indoors this year, and at first when I saw the news, I was like, really, indoors? But then when I stepped in here, this is a phenomenal facility. I mean, it's incredible. They've got 3 full fields in here, and it looks great. It sounds great. Obviously the product in the field is great. So a big props to Grand Park and the city of Westfield up here. This is incredible. And I remember the Mechanics actually played in an indoor facility. I want to say their first and second year of the league, and that was always interesting to watch them go up to Detroit and play. And so they could be used to it at this point too. So
yeah, for sure,
this will be fun. This is going to be a fun evening.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game.
Here comes Travis Carpenter out on the field. So another guy, we're going to call his name a lot tonight. And, for the Mechanics, when you look at their roster, there aren't a lot of names that jump off the page as, hey, they've been a team in the USAU East for a while. I recognize, I want to say Chris Almond from last year, Evan Parzak from last year, and I think you were saying beforehand you noticed somebody's name from the D3 world.
Yeah, so I know Brendan McCann. He played for Michigan Tech, which is D3. They really burst onto the scene this year with a great showing at D3 Midwestern Invite, which is the tournament that I host. So it's great to see him out here.
Absolutely. So real quick, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching the Detroit Mechanics versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
First years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear, guaranteed. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate. The most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate. What the pros wear. And, of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats. we're back. And we're back here on UniversePointProductions.com for the start of the Indianapolis AlleyCats versus Detroit Mechanix game. This is the second to last home game for the AlleyCats this year, sitting at 8-2 on the year. A win here today will tie them for the lead in the Midwest of the AUDL with Detroit Mechanix. I'm sorry, not Detroit Mechanix, with the Madison Radicals, who they beat here last week here at Grand Park, and here on UniversePointProductions.com, of course. So, what are you looking for tonight? What is the key, I think, for the AlleyCats, and then what do you see the Mechanix trying to do to slow down this offense?
Well, last weekend, Indy pulled up a big win against Madison Radicals. I think that coming off of a big win, like we talked about in pregame, coming off of a big win, there's a real chance to have a bit of a letdown. So, I think a big thing here is to come out with like mental fire and show their toughness and not treat Detroit like a weaker opponent. I think that's going to be a big part of it. And I think as long as that goes well, Cats are the favorite on paper. As far as the Mechanix, they need to try and figure out a way to slow down Keenan. Keenan's been great since they've moved indoors. He doesn't. I know that he had at least 1 or 2 games indoors so far this season where he had 0 turnovers. So figuring out a way to slow him down, mess up the offense that the AlleyCats are trying to build a little bit, and see just what they can do to stop the AlleyCats. I don't know how they plan to do it, but something.
You know, I heard pregame. I heard the Mechanix players talking about make all unders, give them all unders. So I don't know if that's a strategy that'll work the entire game when you have somebody like Rick Gross or like Cameron Brock who just have a knack of getting deep and getting behind the defense. So it'll be interesting to see if that strategy works. It's a long game, and we'll see if they can kind of keep that momentum going, if they're even able to. AlleyCats offense steps out on the field first to receive the pull from the Detroit Mechanix, and when you look down that line, you've got all these familiar faces, but somebody you don't always see on the O-line is Spencer Lascar out there, so that's interesting to see. And then Levi Jacobs has transitioned to offense this year. He's been primarily a defensive player, so it's going to be a fun game, and there's the pull. Travis Carpenter back to receive the pull. Keenan Blue right away up to Gross, and look, there we go. Keegan North going deep. And
just overthrown by just a bit by Rick Gross. AlleyCats will come out and play some D now.
Austin Johnson with the disc surveying the field. Does it look like a high stall count? Had to give it away
That's
quick.
That's a D by Keegan North.
Keegan North finds Keenan Blue. Let's see if he can get there.
And he puts a blade across.
After a quick turn by the Cats, Detroit comes right back with another quick turn themselves, and Keenan Blue from Keegan North. See the replay up. Keegan North knew where he was going the entire time.
Puts a nice blade across the field, out in front of the defender. Once Keenan gets in front of you and has space, there's no real catching him. So,
yeah, I had the privilege of playing with Keenan at Ball State when he first started playing Ultimate, and we knew that we had a fast sprinter on our hands when he came out the first day of practice. I never would have imagined he would develop into the player he is today. I mean, obviously he was going to work hard. He was going to continue to grow as a player. But I mean, he's got to be one of the best dynamic threats with his going deep and his ability to handle.
Yeah, and from the cutter space, getting in cuts, he just sneaks under time and time again and gets in cuts and eats up chunks and chunks of yardage. Detroit with the disc now.
Tate Halbert on the sideline takes it to Brendan McCann. Looking for the dump.
David Yu finds Tate Halbert in the end zone.
Detroit ended up right on the goal line, and sometimes that can be one of the hardest places to score from because of just all the traffic that's in front of you, and the Mechanics were nice and patient, and they were able to punch it in. Yeah,
all your players in such a tight and confined space. Real important to stay patient, but he finds a little dishy backhand and gets the easy goal for the Mechanics. It looked like the AlleyCats had him stopped. High stall count on the sideline, and sneaks an IO forehand right through the middle. Sets up Mechanics in great position.
And right there shows great patience, too, from the Mechanics. You know, like you said, you get a couple of high stall counts. I saw Tate Halbert on the sideline, which he had to have been around 5 or 6, and you know, he was patient. He found the open receiver and put it right to him.
Yeah, AlleyCats receiving again. Travis Carpenter fields the pull and finds Keenan. Mechanics step in the lane there, and looks like a set play that the Cats were trying to run, and they're able to stop it. Spencer Loscar finds Rick Gross down the sideline. He puts up a huck to Levi Jacobs, but Nolan Howard is able to get a D for Detroit.
That was great positioning by the Mechanics player there. He was exactly where he needed to be. And if that disc had a little more float on it, Levi would have had a better play on it, but perfect positioning there for the Mechanics.
AlleyCats setting up on defense now. And Rick Gross goes for a big lad D, but comes up just short. And AlleyCats hit the deep shot. That's Carl Fauerbach on the receiving end.
Boston De Jong with the huck there. That was impressive. And that was their D-line. So that's really a good sign for the Mechanics there when your D-line can come out and get a score that quickly with 2 or 3 throws and beat Travis Carpenter deep.
Yeah, what a big huck put up there by Boston De Jong. You know, and what a great rundown by the offensive player, getting open. You know, Carpenter's one of the best defenders in the AUDL, and finds an opening and they score. That's an early break for Detroit. Like I said in the pregame, AlleyCats got to step up and shut down the energy early.
Well, especially indoors, we talk about breaks. You know, when there's no wind, no elements, breaks are hard to come by sometimes. Yeah. So, you know, that's a good start for the Mechanics. This looks like a D-line here on offense for the Cats with Colin Ringwood. See Donovan Triplett, John Jones, Nick Hutton.
A lot of their D-line players making the crossover here. Nick Hutton puts up a hammer for John Jones.
John Jones pulls it down. I think we might have a Mechanics player down as well. That was a quick moving play for the AlleyCats defense turned offense here, and looks like Nick Hutton knew the whole time he wanted to hit John Jones.
No hesitation on the hammer. He puts it up to John Jones. He bobbles it for a second, and he comes down with the goal, tied at 2.
And it looked like Kevin Nickel for the Mechanics might have went down, and he's being helped to the sideline right now. You can see in the top left-hand corner of your screen, and that's for a team that only brought 14 players. That's rough to lose a player. Hopefully everything's all right. He's coming over there to check with the trainer now. So we hope he has a quick turnaround and is able to get back here on the field.
Yeah, it looks like he got his feet tangled up with John Jones right before Jones went up, and maybe he got stepped on, and hopefully it's just going to shake it off for a second and be good to go.
AlleyCats defense makes their way down the field quickly. There we go up again.
So Evan Parizo putting one deep. And Tate Halbert comes up with a big catch over 2 AlleyCats defenders.
Evan Parzot with the disc. Swings over David Yu.
Working that red zone offense back and forth.
I missed that number there, but number 30 for the Ryan Mario for the Detroit Mechanix with the score.
On the receiving end from a throw from Jay Kinzel.
Jay Kinzel and David, you were there playing the handler back and forth for a while, the give and go, and so they were able to punch it in.
Much like the first goal of the game that they got, the Mechanix work on the goal line. They're able to show some patience and fight it in to score. And we see Kinzel there hitting Ryan Mario in the end zone.
Now the AlleyCats offense back on the field. You just saw Travis Carpenter play defense, and here he is on offense again. You know, he's one of those players in the AUDL that if you were to look at his points played, it's got to be up there in the league because he plays both ways quite a bit. And there's a whistle right away. It's like the Mechanix were offsides on their pull. Now it's a little bit different in AUDL versus USAU. In the AUDL, they're going to take this at midfield.
All right, we're going to see Keenan start off with the disc for the AlleyCats at midfield as he walks it up. Keenan puts up a hammer, finds Rick. Rick Roach just outside of the end zone, puts it to Cameron Brock. It resets to Keegan North. Back across. They're going to play catch a little bit and then go to the break side. Cameron Brock finds Levi Jacobs for the goal. That's a lot of patience by Cameron Brock. You know, 2 or 3 years ago, I don't think we could have seen Cameron playing in the handler space the way that he just did. He swings it, he gives and goes for a second, finds Levi Jacobs cutting to the break side.
Now, Levi Jacobs is another one of those names who you hear more and more every year, and of course he played for the was it the U21 team a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Who got silver, who were beat on game point against Canada, and fantastic player. He had a monster game last week where he, I want to say 5 or 6 of the first 7 points where he either scored or assisted.
Yeah, Levi's just a great player. Center Grove alumni, historic high school program. His appearance on the World's teams, loads of experience and talent. So we're looking to go deep. Detroit looks to go deep to Brennan McCann, who's just a bit short on getting that.
Ryan Mario with the fantastic put. I mean, it was there, it was floating, and it was just mistimed barely by the offense and defense, really.
Yeah, floats it right over the hand of Colton Steiner, and McCann just can't come up with it. Colin Ringwood sends to the break side.
Carlton throws it a little short. It might have been tipped.
There's Brennan McCann with the disc. And he puts up a huck.
It's Evan Parzat and Donovan Triplett on him.
Donovan with the D.
So the third turnover of the point gives it back to the AlleyCats.
I think this is our first point of the game with multiple turnovers. Really had been pretty clean to this point. So
Ringwood with the disc. Gives back to Triplett. They're in the back of their end zone. They're going to need to get a little movement. There we go.
Yeah, still working through their end zone. Showing a lot of patience, though. It's hard not to panic in a situation like this where you're stuck in the end zone.
A lot of throws usually means a lot more chances to make a mistake. AlleyCats showing patience, though.
Donovan Triplett finally gets one going up line to get some movement up field for the AlleyCats, but
so the Mechanix are playing a little bit of a pinch as well, where they're making everybody making cuts, and they've got one essentially monster who's playing back, who is not letting anybody go deep, and then as soon as they do, they make an intelligent switch. And so the AlleyCats have not been able to look deep until I say it out loud, of course. That was 29, David Yu on the D. Colin Ringwood, not usually the position he's in. He's usually handling. He's not usually going deep. But with the pinch that was on, they were looking for those deep cutters. He was able to sneak out and take off. Oh!
Oh, a turnover on the sideline. Trying to toe the line, and he just doesn't come up with the disc. Probably just focused a bit much on having to toe the line. Donovan's going to pick up the disc. Finds John Jones, who puts one up to the end zone.
It's Peter Carlton in the end zone. Now there's the break back that we were talking about.
Yeah, AlleyCats really needed to get that break back early, and they did. Breaks are hard to come by. Breaks are pretty tough to come by as you go early in the game.
And there's a timeout by the Detroit Mechanix. You know, again, they only brought 14 people, and one of them went down, so probably trying to get a much-needed rest here. One thing is consistent. Things change. When they do, your insurance should too. An Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent can review your current policy and check to see if you're paying too much or covered too little. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. So the AlleyCats are walking back out to the field. It was a quick timeout for them, and it looks like the Mechanix are walking back out as well. So we're going to see the AlleyCats defense again. It looks like they've done a wholesale. They've got some new faces out there. Rick Gross playing on the D-line right now. That's unusual for him this year. And looks like we got Travis Carpenter out there again, Michael Ames. I'm sorry, not Travis Carpenter. That was 17. I saw 37 there for a minute.
That's Connor Lucas out there. That's not Travis.
Yeah, Connor Lucas. That's a new name for me this year as well.
Yeah. Alex Henderson with the pull. Evan Parise picks it up for the Mechanix.
Jake Kinsel with the disc, getting a little high in the stall count.
They find Ryan Mario in the middle of the field. It's over. That's Parker Howard looking for a deep shot, looking to find Brendan McCann. And Jesse
Jenkins gets the D.
Comes up with a big D.
Gives himself a little fist pump there on the ground, too. Good for him.
Connor Lucas picking it up for the AlleyCats. Rick Gross going deep right away. Lucas puts it up, but that's going to be a bit too far. Just a bit far. Rick can't track it down. The AlleyCats are playing some pretty tight defense, working the Mechanix into high stall count situations. But Mechanix are staying patient, showing a lot of poise with the disc. It's Tate Halbert with the disc. He finds David Yu in the middle of the field. That's Jay Kinsel putting it up for David Yu just outside of the end zone. Jay Kinsel with the disc again. Kinsel and Yu playing a little bit of catch.
Ryan Mario with the score there. And that was good patient offense by the Mechanix there. That's something that, you know, we didn't see in the past couple points. They decided to put it deep right away, and, you know, it is good to see a little bit of patience from them. And David Yu and Jay Kinsel going back and forth, playing some pitch and catch, like you said. That's key for them to keep that momentum going just like that, and being patient, taking their time, and getting down the field. And the AlleyCats on defense there, they actually played defense pretty well. I mean, they were playing to not let them go deep, and if they did go deep, they were step for step with them. So, you know, they were playing the defense that they wanted to play. The Mechanix just didn't make the mistake that, you know, when you play that kind of defense, you're trying to make them make.
Yeah, great defense out of the AlleyCats. Better offense from the Mechanix. Mechanix got into a couple high stall situations, but really impressive poise with the disc thus far in this game. Mechanix getting ready for the pull. And Keenan's going to field it this time for the AlleyCats. Keenan Palou centers to Travis Carpenter. Travis puts it around to the outside for Keegan North. Finds Rick Gross in the middle of the field. Who gets it to Cameron Brock? A little bit of a junk look from the Mechanix on defense that time. They break out of it into a true man defense now. Keegan North finds Travis Carpenter. And he puts up a hammer. That's going to find Cameron Brock wide open in the back of the end zone.
Now it's going to be hard for the Mechanix to play man defense the entire game with only 14 players. That is going to wear them out quickly, so they're going to need to figure out a way to get that junk look or even a zone look working for them.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see a handful more junk looks and some different junk looks. As Travis Carpenter finds Cameron Brock wide open on that break side with the hammer. That hammer's such a hard throw to stop indoors with no wind. Just a really viable throw for people like Travis and the other players who have elite level throws.
Three minutes, 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Back and forth game so far. We've seen, I want to say uncharacteristic turns from the AlleyCats, but turns back and forth on either side. Each team has a break, and we're currently back on serve. Let's see what the Mechanix can do with it here.
David Yu with the disc. And they look deep for number 9, Parker Howard, but unable to connect. That was a bit of a laser. That's hard to get to.
Again, especially indoors,
yeah,
where there's
indoors.
No wind to even try to slow it down or try to maybe push it up even the slightest bit.
Colin Ringwood with the disc. Finds Kip Curtis. And then Colin just overthrows Donovan Triplett. That's an execution error in the backfield. AlleyCats had a chance to take another break, but failed to convert. It's Jay Kinsel with the disc. David Yu looks for Parker Howard again, but just outside of his reach. That's going to be... No, it's not going to be another turnover.
Looks like we had an integrity call there on John Jones. I did see immediately the Detroit player turn around and make it seem as though maybe there was some contact, and it looks like John Jones called a foul on himself using the integrity rule there.
Yep, foul in the end zone. Mechanix are going to get it center on the goal line. And that's Parker Howard. And he finds the cutter wide open with the that's Ryan Mario for the score. That's the third goal of the game for Ryan Mario. Mario pushes hard to the force side and steps back break and a little scuba that's just impossible to stop.
The Cats, forced to turn at the beginning, but then, we saw an unforced error, and, unforced errors and ultimately are the ones that kill you, especially indoors. Growing up, I played tennis, and the stat that I looked at after every match was how many unforced errors did I have? How many times did I hurt myself? And I'm not sure if that's something that the Coach Leonard keeps for the Cats, but that's the sort of thing that at the end of the day you just kick yourself for. That the defense had nothing to do with just a slight overthrow.
Yeah, breaks so valuable in ultimate, and to have a chance at one and just have an execution error, that's really got to be heartbreaking. It's a bit of a junk look again here from the Mechanix. And now they're looking to fall back into man. You can hear him call fire. There's Keenan. Keenan Palou puts up a hammer for Keegan North. And Keegan comes down with it. Yeah, Keenan Plew finds Keegan North in the back of the end zone with that hammer.
So, a stat I'm not keeping is hammers for scores, but I want to say that's about the third or fourth one I've seen from the AlleyCats. And, they're taking advantage of that junk look. And then, when you call fire and you go to man, sometimes there's a little bit of a scramble to find out who's around you and how to pick up who's around you. And then when you see the disc, get moved up the field again as a defense, you're collapsing and you're trying to make sure that somebody is on that. And what happens is just somebody got lost, and in that time, Keegan North just kind of floated back and kind of got lost in the shuffle, I think, and it was an easy hammer for a score from Keenan.
Yeah, you got those few seconds of basically panic mode for the defense and not able to find Keegan North. Mechanics get the disc. It's Tate Halbert. Halbert working the middle of the field pretty well. Ooh, and that's going to be an unforced error by the Mechanics. Jay Kinzel drops a dump or a dishy pass right up the middle. Michael Ames in his first point of the game finds Peter Carlton, who finds Alex Henderson in the end zone. So Alex Henderson, the high schooler, gets open. His first goal of the game from Peter Carlton.
And there's a break for the Cats, and we were talking about how breaks are so important, and that's the way you get ahead. I think we had Alex Hutton a couple weeks ago explaining why breaks are so important, and it makes sense that you have to score when you get the disc from somebody, and you can't go point for point the entire game, and it is important to get those first few breaks. And now the Cats are up 2 with 50 seconds to go, and
yeah, a little bit of breathing room when you get a break. You get an extra second to just breathe. You get maybe you make another mental mistake, and it's not the most costly thing in the world, like it was just a moment ago. Nick Hutton puts up a big pull. Evan Perzot.
Aaron Schwartz with the step through D.
Finds Donovan Triplett. Donovan's putting up a blade for Nick Hutton. Nick Hutton reaches out and beats the sprinting Mechanics defender to score. It's Donovan Triplett with his first assist of the game as he finds Nick Hutton.
And that's a fantastic grab by Nick Hutton. Not only did he have a defender sprinting to him, but he also had the out-of-bounds line. He was able to put his toe down and get the score.
I thought for sure that was going out of bounds. I can't believe he got to it. Great play by Nick Hutton to come up with that goal. The AlleyCats notch another break. They go up 8-5.
That was great field awareness, too, by Aaron Schwartz. That wasn't his man that he got the D on. He was poaching back on the second swing for the Detroit Mechanics, and he was able to sneak forward and anticipate the throw and get that walk through D.
Yeah, he really was able to get to it quickly. The Mechanics seemed like they maybe weren't ready for that pull. Unable to field it cleanly. Lets the AlleyCats defense get set up real quick, and that's going to be another quick turnover for the Mechanics.
10 seconds left in the quarter.
That's another hammer put up. That's Connor Lucas finding Colton Steiner in the end zone. There we go, another hammer score and another break for the AlleyCats. Hammer's really working well. Connor Lucas gets the disc in the center of the field and just puts it back over to the break side. Time running out here in the quarter.
And you saw Connor turn around and look at the time, or look at the clock, how much time was left, and he knew he's going to have to put it up. If he's getting it back from Travis there, he's going to have to put it up. And he did, found Colton Steiner in the end zone. So with 3 seconds left in the quarter, looks like the AlleyCats have a jump ball line out there. I see Kip Curtis, Peter Carlton, Travis Carpenter, yep.
Rick Gross.
Oh, and then sneaking from behind, we got Nick Hutton. So This is going to be the team that, or the line that is there for this jump ball.
Brennan McCann fields it for the Mechanics and puts it up.
And that's not going to make it to the end zone. That's going to float out of bounds.
All right, AlleyCats take a 9-5 lead at the end of the first quarter.
And that was a pretty good first half. You know, they were going back, or first quarter, I'm sorry. The Cats and the Mechanics were going back and forth there at the beginning. And the Cats, you know, there towards the end, really took advantage of some errors and some unforced errors and took it to the Mechanics, and I rolled off 3 breaks?
3 breaks in a row. It was 6-5 at one point, and they take a 9-5 lead into the end of the first quarter. Yeah, great run by the AlleyCats, and that really shows they came over a sluggish, or they overcame a sluggish start here. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Detroit Mechanix versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
First few years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear, guaranteed. BE Ultimate, ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate, the most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats.
And welcome back as we enter the beginning of the second quarter here. Indianapolis AlleyCats take a 9-5 lead over the Detroit Mechanix. AlleyCats in the first quarter started off a little bit slow. We're up 6-5, rattled off 3 quick breaks to take a 9-5 lead. And interesting stat for the AlleyCats. 9 players, 9 different goals.
And 9 different assists I see as well.
Yeah, really spreading it out across the roster. 9 players have goals, 9 players have assists. Whole roster contributing today.
And on the other side, for the Mechanics, Ryan Mario with 3 goals leading the team. And then Jay Kinsel with 2 assists. So, you know, with only 5 points, it's interesting to see somebody have 60% of your goals, but we'll see how that continues to go on throughout the game.
Yeah, but perhaps more impressive for the Mechanics, David Yu and Jay Kinsel really working the disc. Tate Halbert too. They're the ones doing a lot of the yardage gaining, and then Ryan Mario taking advantage in the end zone. We see Nick Hutton pressure with a layout attempt, and throw goes into the ground for the Mechanics. AlleyCats are going to take over real quick. Looks like the feet got tangled up between Peter Carlton and Tate Halbert. That's going to be a Detroit foul. AlleyCats keep the disc just outside of the end zone. Peter Carlton finds John Jones. And that was just a case of John Jones is really fast. Sneaks under his guy, gets going towards the corner of the end zone, gets a step on him, and you just can't recover from that. John Jones, one of the faster guys here on the AlleyCats. That's going to be another break for the AlleyCats as they take a 10-5 lead now.
You know, something I noticed from the Mechanix offense, that last play there, they were setting their stack really deep. And with the speed and the depth that the AlleyCats have tonight, that's going to be difficult, especially with the tired legs that Mechanix are going to get. They're going to need to set that stack a little bit closer. It's almost as if they heard me.
Yeah, their stack looks really close this time. They swing it across the field. That's Carl Feuerbach with the disc on the sideline. He puts up a throw. That's to Austin Johnson, who comes up with it in the end zone. Austin Johnson able to outrun Kip Curtis and come up with the goal from Carl Feuerbach.
So there in the replay, you see Austin Johnson just take off from about midfield and just continue his cut deeper and deeper, and he was able to be found there in the end zone.
Yeah, Curtis, it looked like Kip Curtis stopped him real well on the end cut, and then he was like, okay, I'm just going to take the deep space, and Carl Feuerbach finds him wide open. He gets great positioning, and he's able to come down with it.
Interesting to note, that was the Mechanix' first score since minute 54 left in the first quarter, when it was 5-4 Detroit, and in that last minute 54, the AlleyCats rattled off 4 quick scores.
Yeah, that was a quick scoring run for the AlleyCats. There's a lot of early possession miscues by the Mechanix, and there's one for the AlleyCats. It's a turnover on a hammer attempt. Travis Carpenter looking for Rick Gross. Discussion here. AlleyCats, Travis Carpenter tips it away from Tate Halbert in the end zone. Mechanix seemed to think it was a strip. It looked like it might have been a strip to me.
Here's a look at it. Well, it's hard to tell from that angle.
It's hard to tell. He had to have fully stopped rotation for it to be a strip, but I think it looked like it. It was definitely on the way into his hand, I think. And our referees are going to rule that was a strip.
So there's a break for the Mechanix. That's their first break since really early in the game, when it was 2-1 Mechanix, and they're going to need to get a few more of those if they want to get back in this game.
Yeah, that break was real big for the Mechanix. AlleyCats were on a big run, in the middle of a big run. So that's going to slow them down a little bit. Maybe they'll get some energy going again.
And if you're the Mechanix, you got to stop the momentum somehow. And if it's on unforced errors, then so be it. And I know they'll take that all day.
Yeah, no better way to stop the momentum than to come up with a very quick break. We'll see if the AlleyCats offense can recover here. Well, their D-line. It looks like some D-line players here crossing over to play offense. Donovan Triplett with the disc finds John Jones. John Jones overthrows Peter Carlton, and that's going to be another early AlleyCats turnover. And a hammer put up. And Donovan comes up with a big D for the AlleyCats. Donovan Triplett hits the around, finds Colton Steiner. Or no, that's Aaron Schwartz. Schwartz finds Colin Ringwood. AlleyCats struggling to get much momentum going downfield right now. Donovan Triplett finds Peter Carlton. He puts up a OI forehand, finds Colin Ringwood in the end zone.
Now you mentioned that was the AlleyCats D playing O. And it's important for that D-line to get some O reps also, especially once you get deep into the season. Because the thought is, right, the D gets a turn, and then the D becomes the offense. So, you know, it is good, and it is important for the defense to get, you know, some reps in there. And, you know, when the game is a 4-point spread already, this is a perfect time to get some of those reps, especially late in the season. This will only help for any sort of push that the AlleyCats might have towards the end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Developing that D-line offense is going to be something that AlleyCats need to do going forward if they have hopes for a run at championship weekend. Here we go. AlleyCats with a pull. We see Nathan Busberg on the field for the first time for the AlleyCats today. Nathan Busberg out there. We have Connor Lucas marking up on defense. It's a lefty backhand to...
It's Austin Johnson on the sideline with the disc. Double team by Michael Ames.
Finds Carl Feuerbach open with the hammer. No mark, and he shows some patience, just waiting for something to get open. And he just lasers one right to Jesse Jenkins. And then they shoot deep, looking for Alex Henderson, who comes up with a big sky. Alex Henderson coming down with one over the Mechanix defender from Connor Lucas. Lucas just puts up a great deep shot. Finds Alex Henderson. He got a couple steps on his man. Puts the body on him.
That's about an 80-yard huck. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's an impressive huck. Way to put your body into him by Alex Henderson and come down with that. Come down with that goal.
And you protect your area, you know, and that's exactly what he did. He didn't go into the Mechanix player. He was going in his direction. He went up in his space.
Yep.
Perfect way to keep your space and keep your momentum going forward, and then, you know, just stay in your airspace. It was perfect.
And that was a break for the AlleyCats. So let's see if they can get another roll of breaks here. Mechanix find Brendan McCann in the center of the field.
Peter Carlton and John Jones get in there for the D. Mechanix players slow to get up. That's Parker Howard calling for a sub.
Yeah, a mess of bodies as Carlton comes in off of his man and helps get that D. Mechanix already shorthanded. Really hurts to have another player going down. Colin Ringwood picks up the disc for the Cats as we resume. And that's going to be a drop for John Jones. David Yu working the disc. Finds Brendan McCann.
Good movement by the Mechanix thus far.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of flow here. AlleyCats can't seem to recover on defense. That's Brendan McCann just outside of the end zone. Looks for David Yu. Seems like David Yu just wasn't ready for it. Got caught on the back of his feet a little bit and not able to save it from going out of bounds. He comes up with the catch, but not in bounds. AlleyCats will take over again. Donovan Triplett.
Just has to get rid of it there in the end zone. Star count was getting high.
John Jones is able to come up with that one with a tough catch. Donovan working the disc down the field on his own, using his legs. Puts one up for Aaron Schwartz, who comes down with a big sky.
fantastic grab by Aaron Schwartz there in the end zone. There was a player draped all over him. He was ready for the contact. It was a little bit bladey of a throw, but he tracks it the whole time and comes down with it.
Yeah, defender coming into his space. He goes up, comes down with a big sky. Great play by Aaron Schwartz. That's going to be another break for AlleyCats. 13-7. They're extending their lead now, starting to pull away.
So 6:18 left to go in the half. AlleyCats up 6. That was at least 2 breaks in a row.
Yeah, that was 2 breaks in a row. Detroit came out and got one back, and AlleyCats answered. They responded. They responded pretty well so far. And now it looks like they've got Levi Jacobs on their D-line here, crossing over from the O-line. Levi with the pull. Detroit centers the disc. Find Jay Kinzel on the near sideline. He puts up a hammer. Jay Kinzel with a beautiful hammer finds number 9, Parker Howard, open in the end zone. That was a pretty big hammer by Kinzel. He picks up his 3rd assist of the game. He's doing a lot for this Mechanix offense right now. Nothing open on the under. Kinzel puts up the big hammer. And that's Parker Howard.
And that was a good cut. I mean, that was one where the Howard saw that, Kinzel was getting high in the stall count, and he went to a spot where he knew that he'd go over the top. Where he was before the cut, there was no way that Kinzel could have got the disc to him. So Howard sees that and knows that if I could take this beeline for the end zone, now I'm going to have a bailout over the top throw, with a high stall count. He got it and he went for it.
Yeah. All right, AlleyCats O-line back out here. Looks like a full-strength O-line for them for the first time in a while. Keenan and Travis looking to handle. Keenan finds Rick Rose. Rick with the disc wide open. They swing it all the way across the field. Cameron Brock takes the disc. Showing a lot of patience, working through the handlers, waiting for something good to develop. Keegan North with the disc. Rick Gross finds Travis Carpenter in the middle of the field. AlleyCats just outside of the red zone right now. Spencer Loskar. IO break finds Levi Jacobs.
Number 19, Spencer Loskar. Number 7, Levi.
And they've been sitting on the sidelines for a while with the D playing quite a few points in a row, but the offense comes out, finds their spots, takes them, and punches it in.
Yeah, great patience. Spencer Loskar gets the disc here. Beautiful IO throw. Finds Levi Jacobs on the break side.
And something that AlleyCats offense can do is they can spread the field really well. And like we were talking about earlier, they've got the depth and the speed, and that offensive line probably has the most speed on the team, collectively. And they're able just to spread the Detroit out, take the shots they need, and then punch it in when the opportunity's there.
Yeah, lots of players that can throw, lots of players that can handle the disc, lots of players with speed. Very versatile on that O-line for the AlleyCats. Just very, very versatile players, able to contribute in a good number of ways.
And that's been the key to the AlleyCats' success this year, especially.
AlleyCats D-line. Mechanix working the disc up the field. Josh Leiter hits the up line to Carl Feuerbach. who puts one deep for Tate Halbert, but it's just out of reach. The huck attempt comes in just a bit too hard. Mechanix aren't able to chase it down. AlleyCats are going to take over. Donovan Triplett racing back to pick up the disc. He finds Aaron Schwartz across the field. Puts one up to Peter Carlton. Carlton puts up a big huck for Nick Hutton, who gets it just outside of the end zone. Nick Hutton puts up a hammer, finds Kip Curtis for the goal.
Number 20 is Hutton. Number 8, Kip Curtis.
So there's another hammer score. I would probably say the third or fourth from Nick Hutton himself.
Yeah, AlleyCats really just loving that hammer tonight.
And it's been there. You know, sometimes the hammer's not there, but tonight it has been. So 3 minutes, 53 seconds to go in the half. AlleyCats up 15-8 over the Mechanix. And who we see out there again? We see the defensive line again. So the defense getting a lot of reps tonight, and that is good. We talked about it earlier. You know, it's something that, you know, you have to have those reps, especially towards the end of the season. And the AlleyCats are hoping to make, you know, the playoff push. You know, a win tonight does clinch a playoff spot. Still up in the air whether or not that'll be a home game or a road game or a bye week, the first week too. So, you know, something that's on the minds of the Cats, but they're taking it one game at a time. We talked to Coach Leonard before the game. You know, he was very adamant that they're taking this one game at a time, and they've got a tough schedule at the end of the year.
Yeah, one of the tougher schedules in the AUDL to end the season here. So, all right. Nathan Busberg comes up with a D. Almost looked like it was on accident. He just turned around and it kind of caught him in the chest. He'll take that for the stat line, though. They find Jesse Jenkins in the middle of the field. Centers it to Michael Ames. Jenkins and Ames playing catch for a moment. They hit Cameron Brock. Michael Ames just standing in the middle of the field, playing center. His players run back and forth for him. Ames takes a strike cut. He puts up a hammer. Michael Ames finds Alex Henderson for the goal.
Number 78, Michael Ames. Number 0, Alex Henderson.
And that was another hammer goal by the AlleyCats. Michael Ames waits a second, puts it up, wide open on the break side, Alex Henderson. That's the third goal of the game for Alex Henderson.
Looks like we've got a timeout, Mechanix. Try to come over here and regroup. Get a quick breather in. So let's take a quick break as well. You're watching the Detroit Mechanix versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
First few years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
All right, and we're back. After the timeout, AlleyCats looking to pull. They've built the lead up to 16-8 after adding a few more breaks. AlleyCats D-line really starting to roll now. Got a lot of traction. It seems like they've got the Detroit offense figured out.
Not only that, but as we keep repeating, you know, they only brought 14 players, and they are looking gassed. You know, they used both their timeouts just to get a breather, and you know, it is unfortunate because for them, they have to play every point, and they can't get a rhythm because that O-line needs a break every now and then. So the O-line can't play every single point. So they're having to move players in and out, so they don't truly have an O and a D line.
Yeah, that's tough for any team to overcome. David Yu with the disc. Not able to hit Tate, or that's Parker Howard. Not able to hit Parker Howard across the middle. Disc floats, turnover. AlleyCats are going to take over. Colin Ringwood picking up the disc. Aaron Schwartz goes deep. Man on him. He's not able to come up with a catch.
No, that was going to be a tough catch regardless. I mean, he had somebody approaching him from the back. He had, his D step for step with him, and then he saw that back in line coming at him quick too. That was going to be a tough catch regardless of what happened, and just slips right through his fingers.
Yeah, it just kind of got sandwiched there by the defense and the out of bounds line. Mechanix coming out of the timeout. Jay Kinzel throws one right into the chest of Aaron Schwartz as Aaron Schwartz tries to come through. It's going to be another D for the AlleyCats. Let's see if they can convert another break here. Nick Hutton misjudges that hammer pretty badly. Overruns it and can't get it. All right, after some work, the Mechanix, Parker Howard, gets it into the end zone. Finds number 30, that's Ryan Mario again, getting the goal.
Mechanix get back on the board after a little bit of a drought there, and they can trot off the field with their heads held high here with a score. I see some smiles down there, so that's a good thing. You can't get down too much on yourself, especially early in the game. You never know what's going to happen. It is a long game.
Yeah.
With short lines, not a lot of depth tonight. It's going to be it's going to be a tough night for them regardless. So keep those heads up. You never know what's going to happen. We've seen some floaty discs already. We've seen some unforced errors from the Cats. So they can just continue to plug away and potentially start chipping away at this lead a little bit.
Mechanix on the pole. Travis Carpenter is going to field it. Centering to Keenan Blue. Travis and Keenan stay back to handle. Isolate Keegan North in space to start. Junk look from Mechanix going to shut that down. They work it back and forth, showing lots of patience. AlleyCats are going to have to fold out of that side stack. Looking for a more horizontal stack now. Cameron Brock drops back into the backfield.
We got 40 seconds on the clock. Keegan North surveys the field here.
Cameron Brock hammer finds Keegan North. Puts it up line to Rick Gross. Rick hits Keenan. Keenan Plew. Just outside of the end zone. Gets one to Spencer Loscar. Puts it up for Cameron Brock in the end zone. Lots of patience from that AlleyCats O-line there.
Yeah, so the AlleyCats O-line gets stalled, back towards their end of the field. And they have to swing it back and forth a little bit. But then as you saw, they find a couple open players down the middle of the field, and then they're just marching. They're moving. They've got that flow going again, and all of a sudden they're down to the other end of the field, and they're able to punch it in.
Yeah, so something the Mechanix have done great at tonight is coming out with that junk look, like right off the pull. Mechanix come out with that junk look, shuts down the pull play that the AlleyCats have set up, forces them entirely out of the side stack they set up in. Cameron Brock has to drop back into the handler space, and luckily for the AlleyCats, they show a lot of patience, a lot of poise with that disc, collect themselves, and find a way down the field to score. Peter Carlton sprints down and disrupts the centering pass. Redden McCann with the disc on the near sideline.
10 seconds remaining in the half.
That's number 22, Evan Perizot puts it up.
So Rick Gross comes
Rick
down
Gross
with
comes
it.
down with the D.
Of the second quarter. Your AlleyCats lead 17-9 with a rip.
So at halftime, it's the Indianapolis AlleyCats 17, the visiting Detroit Mechanix 9. So that was a good first half for the Cats. I mean, the defensive line got a lot of offense opportunities there, and that is something that has been very productive, especially tonight. You know, they're able to get quite a few breaks. They're able to, you know, punch in and wear this Detroit Mechanix team out. You know, I see some, you know, I don't see any hands on the knees from the Mechanics, but you know, they're really, well, they're actually in the middle of the field talking to the officials right now. So I'm wondering what this conversation's about.
Yeah, they're talking about something as we went into halftime. When the disc was up in the air, jump ball situation, I think that they thought there was a bit of pushing right before it, or right while the disc was up in the air.
Well, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and look at some stats and talk about our thoughts. But you're watching the Detroit Mechanix versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
All you can do is toss the disc into a bucket for your chance to win.
Frisbee Music College, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working toward winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear, guaranteed. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate. The most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate. What the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats.
Rick hits Keenan. Keenan Plew. Just outside of the end zone. Gets one to Spencer Loskar. Puts it up for Cameron Brock in the end zone. All right, after some work, the Mechanics. Ames takes a strike cut. He puts up a hammer. Michael Ames finds Alex Henderson for the goal. Carlton puts up a big huck for Nick Hutton, who gets it just outside of the end zone. Nick Hutton puts up a hammer, finds Kip Curtis for the goal. Rick Gross finds Travis Carpenter in the middle of the field. AlleyCats just outside of the red zone right now. Spencer Loskar. IO break finds Levi Jacobs. And Jay Kinzel on the near sideline. He puts up a hammer. Jay Kinzel with a beautiful hammer finds number 9, Parker Howard, open in the end zone. Donovan working the disc down the field on his own, using his legs. Puts one up for Aaron Schwartz, who comes down with a big sky. And he just lasers one right to Jesse Jenkins. And then they shoot deep, looking for Alex Henderson, who comes up with a big sky. Alex Henderson. Donovan Triplett finds Peter Carlton. He puts up a OI forehand, finds Colin Ringwood in the end zone. Discussion here. Disc on the sideline. He puts up a throw. That's to Austin Johnson, who comes up with it in the end zone. Austin Johnson. AlleyCats keep the disc just outside of the end zone. Peter Carlton finds John Jones.
Ten seconds left in the quarter.
That's another hammer put up. That's Connor Lucas finding Colton. Finds Donovan Triplett. Donovan's putting up a blade for Nick Hutton. Michael Ames in his first point of the game finds Peter Carlton, who finds Alex Henderson in the end zone. So Alex Henderson, the high schooler, gets open. And now they're looking to fall back into man. You can hear him call fire. There's Keenan. Keenan Plew puts up a hammer for Keegan North. And Keegan comes down with it.
It's called a foul on himself, using the integrity rule there.
Yep, foul in the end zone. Mechanics are going to get it center on the goal line. And that's Parker Howard. And he finds Keegan North finds Travis Carpenter. And he puts up a hammer. That's going to find Cameron Brock wide open in the back of the end zone. Kinzel and you playing a little bit of catch.
Ryan Mario with the score there.
Total line. Donovan's going to pick up the disc. Finds John Jones, who puts one up to the end zone.
It's Peter Carlton in the end zone.
Cameron Brock. All right, and we're back from halftime. Indianapolis AlleyCats take a 17-9 lead over the Detroit Mechanix here in the first half. As we enter the second half, Alex Henderson leads the AlleyCats in goals with 3 goals. Peter Carlton really leading the team for the AlleyCats. 3 assists and 1 goal for him. Nick Hutton, 2 assists and a goal. Both of his assists on big hammers across the top. Something the AlleyCats have really hit home on all game is that hammer across the top, putting it over to a wide open player. And then for the Detroit Mechanix, Ryan Mario really filling up the stat sheet with 4 goals for the Mechanix, and Jay Kinzel moving the disc, 3 assists for him. Jay Kinzel and David Yu, 2 players who have looked very very effective for the Mechanix, moving the disc up and down the field. They've done a lot of the heavy lifting, picking up yardage for the team. Heath, what have you seen here in the first half?
Well, obviously the AlleyCats are moving the disc well. I mean, it's 17-9, so that really shows you that the defense has been on point. What's killing the Mechanix is their depth and then the unforced errors. They've been pretty huck happy, and those hucks are either going short, going deep, and going too deep. We've seen a couple lasers go up that didn't connect, and there has to be a point where they decide we're just going to work it under, or we're just going to work the swing and see what we can do to work it down the field, and they just haven't found that rhythm yet. And again, I hate to harp on it, but it probably has a little bit to do with the depth. I mean, with only 14 players, that's rough. So in the second half, they're really going to need to figure out where they can chip away at the score, and they've been playing okay to start each point. Like you said, when they were on offense, they're able to kind of stop with their junk look. They're able to stop some of the set plays the AlleyCats have, but the AlleyCats just keep chipping away, getting yardage here, getting yardage there. If they have to dump it, they're not afraid to dump it. When you coach, you always say it's okay to lose yardage. You lose yards to gain yards, and that's what the AlleyCats are doing. That's what they're showing that they can do. And unfortunately for the Mechanix, that's hurting them. And it's at those long points you can really tell that they're getting gassed and they're just not ready and they're out of position. And obviously the no weather indoors is helping the Cats as well, and they're going over the top. It's almost their first look.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a really early second look, I guess, and they're connected.
Yeah, and for the Mechanix, I think that the depth and the unforced errors almost go hand in hand. You don't have a deep roster today. Only 14 players came. They've had a couple go down with injuries throughout the first half. But really, I mean, you have a short roster, so you look to huck it right away. The huck fails, and then you have to run more, and now your depth is starting to hurt you. So AlleyCats working up the disc early. Keenan Plew doing a lot of the lifting for AlleyCats. Travis Carpenter looks to put one deep for Spencer Loscar. Comes down with it with a defender on his back. Spencer Loscar picking up his first goal of the game.
Just a great look by Travis, and he sees Spencer go, and Spencer's a guy who has wheels for days and can just go, and he finds him in the end zone for a pretty easy score, really.
Yeah, he uses his body to protect the disc, keeps the defender on his back, and he's able to go up and get it. No problem.
I've been playing with Spencer for many, many years. He came out in 2012 as just a fresh, just a young college kid. He came out and started playing with us at the University of Indianapolis, and he's improved tremendously over the years, and it's been really impressive to watch his growth. He's always had the speed and the wheels and the attitude that disc is mine, and you continue to see it day in and day out with him.
All right, AlleyCats pull. Put this back across the field. Oh, Donovan Triplett lays out to try and get the Callahan. Takes it to the ground but can't hold on. And then he finds a little lefty backhand to John Jones. Not as sweet as the Callahan would have been, but a goal nonetheless.
You almost feel bad for Donovan there. He thought he had it. You could see it in his eyes. You can see his momentum. He was going to have it, and then hits the ground, disc pops out.
He hits a sweet lefty backhand.
Yeah, luckily he was able to pick it up and just find John Jones pretty quick, but I'm sure he's hearing a little bit about it right now on the sidelines too.
Oh yeah, his teammates are not going to let him live that down today.
We've all had teammates like that will let you hear it, and I'm under the impression that there is a good group of the Indy Masters guys watching the game tonight. And I can tell you right now that KG, he would be letting us have an earful if that was on the sideline right now. Just he was the master heckle.
Yeah, and big shout out to the Indy Masters guys today from Naptown, going 3-1 today. Only loss came to Chicago Pacemaker. Entering to tomorrow, they'll have one more game of pool play, and then they'll be making their way to the championship in bracket play.
Yeah, they made nationals last year, and they were the first club team from Indianapolis area to make it to nationals in many, many years.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they're on track to do that again, barring a major letdown tomorrow. Seems like they're on track to take another bid to nationals this year. So, Alex Henderson with the disc. Finds Nick Hutton. That disc just unable to come up with it is Connor Lucas. Mechanics take over. Put up a deep shot. And Alex Henderson with a big D.
And he comes from behind the play and is able to time it just perfectly to get up there and get that D. Impressive from the young kid.
Alex Henderson's going to bring it up. Take the disc here. Nick Hutton puts up a deep shot, looking to find Nathan Busberg. He comes down with the grab just on the goal line. And then Nathan Busberg picks up the assist. He finds Connor Lucas, who's able to reel that one in. Nick Hutton puts up a big huck. Nathan Busberg has the legs to run it down. Runs it down, grabs it left-handed over the defender. Just outside of the end zone, and then a little dishy pass to Connor Lucas. That's another break for the AlleyCats. That's 3 straight goals here out of half. They extend that lead 20-9 here.
And that was an impressive huck by Nick Hutton, and I wish we would have been able to capture a little more of that replay just to see that huck. It was well placed. He was able to run underneath it and grab it, and then that sets up the just the easy dish for the score. It's little things like that where players continue to improve their game year after year, and Hutton's really been able to dial in that huck. He's been that guy who's been full of energy, will lay out every single point. But he's really found the ability to get that disc and put it out there.
Yeah, he's really been known for his big playability on defense, but offensively he's really been stepping it up over here recently. So, David Yu puts up a huck.
Miscommunication. I saw 30 Ryan Mario start to go deep and then came back for the under. I don't think that David Yu knew that.
Colin Ringwood with the disc. Puts it across the middle to Spencer Laskar. John Jones to Kip Curtis. Kip Curtis puts it to Rick Gross. And Rick Gross is going to pick up the easy assist to Donovan Triplett. Rick Gross picking up his first stat of the game. 1 assist for the guy. It's been a lot of the depth stepping up for the AlleyCats today. First stat on the board for Rick Gross today.
Well, yeah, that really just goes to show you that defense has been out there almost all day. When he's playing primarily offense now, it's going to be hard to hit that 200 club if you're sitting on the bench over there with the O-line.
Over here, $200. You want $200? Cold hard cash. Ash is over here, sniffing it, counting it, feeling it, because there's $200, single bills, ready for you to win between the third and fourth quarter. Head over and buy your mini disc for your chance to win.
Levi Jacobs puts up the big pull. Mechanics center it quickly. It's Brennan McCann with the disc. He puts up a big backhand huck. Jesse Jenkins trying to chase it down on defense, but cannot.
That was Boston Dayu.
Brennan McCann finds Baston Dayoon for the goal.
That's his first goal of the day.
You have 8 minutes and 45 seconds left to go get your mini disc and your chance to win $200 cold hard cash. 1 for $1, $5 for $10.
So Mechanic get another one on the board. It's been a tough night for him so far, but something positive that comes out of something like that is, that was a huck, and the huck has not been landing for him today. So, it's one of those things where what you can take away from that point is that the defense was running with them, but we still connected the huck. So you can take that a little bit away from that, a little bit of a positivity where, again, this game, you can't really ever say a game's over, especially when the points are so quick and the clock stops so often. You could rattle off, 4 or 5 in a row possibly, and you feel like you're right back in the game.
Yeah, we saw the AlleyCats do that at the end of the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter. They rattled off 4 goals in about a 2-minute span, so anything can still happen. If they get some momentum behind them, Mechanics are not out of this game necessarily, so we'll see if they can keep on building here. Keegan North puts it to the break side for Keenan Plew. Keenan works it down the sideline to Travis Carpenter. Puts one to the back of the end zone. Perfect throw to Cameron Brock. And Travis Carpenter picks up the assist there to Cameron Brock. But really that play began with Keegan North finding Keenan on the break side. Keenan stops for a second, hits it a break side again. And that's when the offense can really roll.
And again, as has happened almost the entire game, the Detroit junk look slows them down at the AlleyCats offense at the beginning, and then a couple of throws they're able to break through and find the openings, and then all of a sudden they're off to the races, and the flow gets in, gets put in, and there's no stopping them at that point. Pull for the AlleyCats goes out of bounds. You don't see that a lot indoors, especially no wind, and still somehow they aren't able to dial in on that pull. So Josh Leiter, a name we haven't called a lot tonight, takes to the brick.
He'll put up a deep shot, and he's able to get the disc over Rick Gross. That's number 19, Austin Johnson, on the goal line. Austin Johnson finds Evan Perazot in the end zone for the goal. It's not often that you see someone beat Rick in the air, but Rick Gross gets beat, and then Evan Perazot finds a small opening in the end zone to score.
Saw some more smiles on the Mechanics' faces there, starting to notice. They're down 22-11, having a little fun, putting some hucks up and some hammers. So
it's a small victory sometimes, just get 1 point, 2 points to go your way. That's what really matters here in a game that's getting a little bit out of hand. It's the small victories. AlleyCats working down the field. Levi Jacobs and Cameron Brock able to play catch for a minute. Find Aaron Schwartz on the near side. Aaron puts it across to Cam. Cam to Keenan Plew.
Cameron playing a big role in the handling lineup today.
And then he puts a scooper to Keenan and gets open, or tries to get open in the end zone. But that might have been a bit forced, and that's a turnover for Keenan. He throws one away. It's deed by a couple of Mechanics players. And he gets it back with a Callahan right away.
I guess if you're going to throw it away, the way to get it back is a Callahan in the end zone.
Yeah.
Not a bad way to... little turnaround there. And now he can go tell Donovan, this is how you catch it in the end zone.
Yeah, way to earn it back by Keenan. All right, AlleyCats take a 23-11 lead now over the Mechanics. Josh Slider with the disc. He finds Austin Johnson on the sideline. Johnson puts it to the middle of the field.
Another laser beam actually ended up working that time.
Right into AlleyCats double team. But Carl Feuerbach able to work through it. He finds Evan Perazat in the end zone.
So the double team on the end zone line doesn't work this time, but that is something that's very effective. And in the AUDL, since you're allowed to double team, you see a lot of teams try to put that in place on the sidelines, and use the sideline as that third defender almost. On the end zone, it is difficult, especially when you sandwich somebody like they did. You've got a big, long arms up in front of them, big, long arms in the back of them. So that takes away a little bit of the dump, takes away a little bit of your forward cut or your cut ahead of you, and that time they're just able to work right underneath the arm for the score.
Yep, he stays patient, steps through the defense, and able to get the assist there. AlleyCats O-line back on the field. We haven't seen much of him today. Keenan Plew with the disc. Puts up an OI throw, finds Keegan North down the field. Keegan puts up a shot to Levi Jacobs, but a bit too bladey, and Levi cannot come up with it. Detroit Mechanix working the disc slowly up the field. Brennan McCann with the disc, covered by Travis Carpenter. Goes just over the hand of Keenan Plew, reaching up to try and D it. That's going to be Jay Kinzel putting up the hammer for Detroit. Jay Kinzel puts up the hammer, and he's able to find his man in the end zone to score.
Well, we've got a quick break. We didn't get a chance to do this at halftime, but let's take a look at the layout ultimate grip catch of the half. Now, we talked a little bit about this at halftime, and Donovan gets the disc on the sideline and finds Aaron Schwartz over the top with a little bit of a bladey there, and Aaron Schwartz is able to pull it down with his defender on him, and that was just a great catch. So that was the layout ultimate grip catch of the half. Layout ultimate, what the pros wear. Layout ultimate would like to give out a pair of gloves to a viewer. Tweet at universe_point and at layout ultimate using the hashtag layout ultimate and tell us why you want some gloves. We will pick a winner in the fourth quarter. Nice way to win some pair of gloves there.
Yeah, well, layout gloves are great. So I know I would be tweeting in if I were the viewer. AlleyCats work up the field quickly this time. Rick Gross with the disc. Puts it up to the end zone for Kip Curtis, and Kip Curtis is able to come down with it. Rick Gross picks up his second assist of the game, and AlleyCats continue to roll offensively. 24-13 they lead.
So that's 2 assists for Rick Gross during this half. His only 2 tallies on the stat line, but those 2 good ones. So the AlleyCats stretch that lead back to 11. 5:18 to go in the third quarter. It's easy to say they're running away with it. I'm sure they're feeling like this is a good time to get some of those reps, almost like a practice now.
It seems like every time they start to bring in a line that includes a lot of backups, though, Mechanix are able to score a goal, maybe put up a break, and Mechanix are still out here fighting, playing tough, working hard. So Alex Henderson, big bid, not able to come up with it. Mechanix continue to work the disc. That's Evan Parazot. Parazot puts up a huge huck, looking for Brendan McCann, and finds him in the end zone. So Evan Parazot to Brendan McCann. He's able to beat Jesse Jenkins deep and find himself his first goal of the game. It's Brendan McCann in the end zone.
That was a good put. I mean, that's 65, 70 yards on a dime, and that's the sort of put you want to have, and especially indoors. And just right over the outstretched arms of Jesse Jenkins, who really was step for step. He might have been a step behind, half a step behind. So that was a beautifully put disc and a great grab.
Really where it needed to be for the defender to not have a chance at it. So, yeah, great job, great throw by Parazot. McCann, great cut, get open deep. Mechanix looking to pull now. Maybe they can string together a run real quick. Travis Carpenter fields it for the AlleyCats, centers it to Keenan Plew. Set play looks like it's going to work this time for AlleyCats. Levi Jacobs gets open coming across the field. Cameron Brock now. They're still able to work out of that side stack. Keenan Plew, Cameron Brock. Cam's pretty much uncovered, able to work it. Cam and Keenan play catch and then find Spencer Loscar wide open in the end zone. Keenan Plew picking up another assist, his second of the game. That's quick work by the AlleyCats offense. And really, for one of the first times in the game, their set play does not get shut down. Levi Jacobs comes across the field early out of that side stack. Cameron Brock follows him. Cameron Brock never really gets picked up, and Mechanix cannot do much to stop him.
Yeah, and that's a 25-second point for the AlleyCats. And you're right. I mean, when the set play is able to come to fruition, and the junk looks not able to shut it down, I mean, the AlleyCats can make quick work of it.
Yeah, the risky thing about a junk look is if you don't set it up correctly, or if someone gets loose early, the point's going to be over really quickly. You'll have someone streaking down the field open, or in that case, you have Keenan and Cam able to play catch back and forth. And that's, if the Mechanix want to make a run, that's just not something that they can have happen. That's going to be a quick layout D by Colin Ringwood, reaching around the arms of the offensive player and coming up with it. Colin centers it to Donovan Triplett. Triplett to Nick Hutton. Hits Peter Carlton in the middle, and they find Rick Gross right up the middle. Rick picks up his first goal of the game. He couldn't go the entire game without picking up a goal. Nick hits the inside throw to Peter Carlton. Carlton just nice and easy backhand right up the middle, finds Rick Gross.
Great
wide
look
open
from Carlton, great cut from Rick Gross. Knew exactly where they needed to be, where the hole in the D was. That's something you come to expect from Rick Gross, like you've been saying.
Yeah, he couldn't go the entire game without scoring a goal. Making an impact here in the third quarter, 2 assists, 1 goal. So, big quarter here from Rick. AlleyCats pull. And there's going to be a layout D by Connor Lucas. Mechanix player looked like he was wanting a foul call, but nothing called. They hit Michael Ames. Ames gets it to Alex Henderson, sorry. And then Connor Lucas flips it over the top between 2 defenders from the Mechanix and finds John Jones in the end zone. John Jones having a big game. 4 goals, 1 assist. Connor Lucas catches it. 2 Mechanix defenders react to him. He's able to put it up right over the middle. Find John Jones in the end zone. This is a big third quarter here for the AlleyCats, as they've scored 10 points here in the third quarter.
And we still have 3:15 to go.
3:15 to go. Really just a rapid pace here for this third quarter. AlleyCats pulling. Mechanix center the disc, find to Evan Perazat. And that's going to be a run through D again. Rick Gross comes up with the D there. Mechanix looking like they're starting to fall apart. That fatigue's definitely setting in for them. Colin Ringwood with the disc, centers it to Donovan Triplett. Continues it across the field. Nick Hutton with the disc, he hits Kip Curtis. Donovan Triplett gets open, up line to score. Donovan Triplett with the second goal of the game on the assist from Kip Curtis.
Just a scoring barrage from the AlleyCats this quarter. And
everything's going right for the AlleyCats right now.
And there's a timeout for the Mechanix.
Hand-me-down car, first used but new to you car, first actual new car. When things change, your insurance should too. Visit infarmbureau.com for a free quote to find your local Indianapolis area agent. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood.
So while we're doing some ad reads, let's not forget about the Layout Ultimate Grip Catch of the Half. Tweet us at @universe_point and at Layout Ultimate. Let us know, why you want some of those layout gloves, which are fantastic gloves, like you were saying. We've played with a little bit with them in the Shanahan household. It's been pretty fun. And since we've got some time too, I want to look again at that replay that we had of for our ultimate grip catch of the half. You see Donovan here with the bladey throw, and Aaron Schwartz knew contact was coming and was still able to keep the concentration, get up there and grab it. And that's just a great grab. That's great camera work too by our cameraman Kaiser DeCam over there. That was good. Again, let us know why you want some gloves. Use the hashtag #LayoutUltimate and tag at @universe_point and at @LayoutUltimate.
Can we say if you get those gloves, you can catch like Aaron?
I think we can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're looking at 2 minutes and 36 seconds left. AlleyCats doubling up. The Mechanix score 28-14. We still got a whole quarter to play as well.
Yeah, AlleyCats really putting up a big game here. Lots of points. Points coming fast today. AlleyCats getting ready to pull. Alex Henderson will pull for the AlleyCats. The pull goes up.
Another unforced error for the Mechanix.
Yeah, these errors really piling up for the Mechanix. Michael Ames picks up the disc. Works it to Connor Lucas. They work it to the break side. Nathan Busberg with the disc. Showing a lot of patience here. They've retreated about 20 yards just looking for this opening. Brennan McCann comes up with a big D for the Mechanics. Reads the cut coming. And then he puts a laser scuba across the top, and that's going to find Tate Halbert in the end zone. What a throw by Brennan McCann.
And it all started with that great D, just the poach, seeing your surroundings, knowing what's going to come, anticipation, and got the good run through D, and it finishes off with the laser scuba, like you said, over the top.
Yeah, it just puts it over the top of everybody. Nobody really has a chance of getting that except for his offensive player. Really able to make a big throw there. And he runs the offense after the turnover.
So 1:37 still to go in the third quarter. AlleyCats 28, Detroit Mechanix 15. AlleyCats offense that we haven't seen very much today, back out on the field. Keenan Plew back to receive the disc. Keegan North back there with him, with Travis Carpenter.
Keegan North with the disc. Hits Levi Jacobs in the middle of the field. Hits Cameron Brock. Hits Spencer Lascar. Moving without much resistance right now, the AlleyCats offense. Cameron Brock down the sideline. Oh. So Mechanics player falls down for a second. Keenan to Travis. And Spencer Lascar just outruns his defender and gets open in the end zone. Travis Carpenter gets a disc.
Good patience, but then great look by Spencer Lascar to make that strike cut to the corner, or to the pylon.
Yeah, he probably had a chance to try and force it into the end zone, but showed a lot of patience, waited for Spencer to get open, and able to score. A nice, easy one.
We're under a minute now, the third quarter.
Disc pops up, and that's going to be a sky D by Kip Curtis. Turns quickly, finds Donovan Triplett. Kip and Donovan working it back and forth here. And then John Jones is going to go deep, and he comes down with it. John Jones on the receiving end of another goal. That is the 5th goal of the game for John Jones.
John Jones with a great cut. Had a couple steps on his defender, and sure enough, there he is in the end zone.
Yeah, AlleyCats really rolling. Everyone having a good game for the AlleyCats.
Yeah,
really.
It's going to be hard to select a star of the game there. I see lots of tallies all over the place.
Yeah, John Jones with 5 goals. Donovan Triplett with 4 assists and 2 goals. Peter Carlton with 4 assists and a goal. Lots of players here. And you can't forget about Keenan with the Callahan.
Sure, absolutely.
Detroit quickly hits on a huck. That's going to be a stall called on the end zone. Nobody's able to follow up.
Official asked to reset the clock to 19 seconds. It should have stopped on the whistle. We reset it to 19, and we got the reset.
19 seconds here. AlleyCats. And that's going to be a throwaway. Mechanix working the disc. They're going to have to put up a shot. 2 seconds. They put one up to the end zone. That shot's not great, and Michael Ames is able to shut it down and throws down a ferocious spike after the D.
Well, that was a barrage of scoring there for the AlleyCats. They in the half was 17. They end the third quarter with 30. It's a pretty good quarter there for the AlleyCats, especially on the AlleyCats on defense.
That's a blistering pace for the AlleyCats. That's over a goal a minute on average here in the third quarter, which is unbelievable.
Absolutely, and the Mechanix did score 6, so that was there was a lot of scores in that quarter. But let's take a quick break. You're watching the Detroit Mechanix versus the Indianapolis AlleyCats on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
First few years of college, I threw every single day. Of course you want to be a champion. Of course you want to be working towards winning titles.
Be happy, but never satisfied.
Better than ever.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Find your local Marion County agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Disc Store, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear, guaranteed. BE Ultimate, ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. Layout Ultimate, the most durable ultimate gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. And of course, the Indianapolis AlleyCats.
And we're back after the end of the third quarter. AlleyCats have a commanding 30-15 lead over the Detroit Mechanix here at Grand Park in Westfield. John Jones, real standout for the AlleyCats today. 5 goals, 1 assist. Donovan Triplett not far behind, 4 assists, 2 goals. Going to be hard to pick a standout or a real star of the game today.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Keenan Pluka of the Callahan, but he gave away his 100% completion rate right before that when he tried to force it into the end zone. So I don't know if I can give it to Keenan now.
Yeah, Keenan, had a chance of being great. He threw one away.
Tonight was Fan Appreciation Night for the AlleyCats. They just had a chance. Oh, I'm sorry. Next Saturday. Wait. See, here I am getting all confused because I'm trying to listen to the PA at the same time. So Saturday, July 23rd, when the Minnesota Wind Chill are here in Indianapolis at Grand Park, that's Fan Appreciation Night. If you can't, make it out to Westfield, make sure you watch us here on Universe Point Productions. We will have all the action that evening, and looking forward to the Wind Chill coming to town, and hopefully with a win tonight. Again, I hate saying it, it's a win with a whole quarter to play, but odds are this is going to be a win for the AlleyCats, and this will clinch the playoff spot for the Cats. And that last game of the year, it always seems to come down to Minnesota, and it always seems to come down to playoff contention. And last year the AlleyCats had a subpar record, but when the Minnesota Wind Chill came into town, they were trying to play spoil and do something to the Wind Chill and put them in a worse position. But maybe this year, well, definitely this year, it'll come down to positioning for the playoffs for the Cats. And if they can continue to roll, next week they're going to go to Madison for that rematch, and if they can pull out a win there at Breeze Field in Madison, something that doesn't happen very often. I think I saw at the Wind Chill the Radicals are 45-1 or something in Madison.
Yeah, I think their only loss in Madison was against Raleigh a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, which is impressive. And if they can pull out a win next weekend, watch out for the Cats. There was a really interesting article on Ulti World that said that the Cats could be, one of those 4 teams that make the championship weekend this year. And this is the team. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen this year. And they have gelled well. They've picked up pieces this year that weren't here last year or were injured last year, and they're playing really well together as a team. And it wouldn't shock me. This could be the AlleyCats year.
Yeah, and next week's a huge week. If you pick up a win next week, you take control of the division. That makes it high possibility that a playoff game against Madison would be here in Indianapolis. Take away that Madison home field advantage. So huge implications next week. Huge implications as we finish off the season. John Jones picks up a big D there. Huge implications as we finish off the season. Games against Minnesota still. Games against Chicago, who doesn't have a great record right now. But when Chicago has a full roster, Chicago can beat anybody. They lost to Madison by just a single point 3 weeks ago on a neutral field site. So,
yeah, Chicago's sitting at 4-5, and you can't really count them out of the playoffs quite yet because Minnesota is just 6-3, so they're only a couple games back of Minnesota, and they could make a run towards the end of the year. And you're right, there's a big game against the Cats. They're on that last game of the season, and Minnesota Chicago in a couple weeks against Indianapolis, and if Chicago can win that, they might sneak themselves into the playoffs too.
Yeah, or at the very least play spoiler for someone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chicago's a good team. They just have struggled to get all their numbers out and have a full team at very many games this year.
And I know they were really excited at the beginning of the year with the Kirk Gibson signing, and he's a phenomenal player, but he's just been so banged up. When he was here a couple weeks ago, I talked to him after the game, and he said, he played really well here against the AlleyCats. The AlleyCats got the win, but you could just tell that he wasn't 100% quite yet, and especially with Worlds coming up, I know he's going to be playing with double wide, and he's excited for that. But I just hope I can see him full strength, because it's fun to watch Kirk Gibson when he's full strength.
Yeah, same with any elite top tier player, getting to see that kind of. And you can't count out any team with Kirk Gibson at any time. That's going to be Detroit scoring quickly. That's Baston Jajong on the goal, with the goal. It's going to be a throw from Josh Leiter, who picks up his first assist of the game. And DeYoung beats Travis Carpenter downfield. Carpenter not quite able to come up with a D.
So we were talking about a blistering point per minute pace we are at. Well, we're only a minute and 10 seconds gone by, and we've already scored 2 points. And in this quarter, we could be at a 35-second pace this quarter if we don't watch it.
Hey, that's what I like to see. The fans love offense, right? Keegan North gonna retrieve the pull, center it to Keenan Plew. He hits Levi Jacobs up the middle of the field. Levi finds Rick Gross. Rick willing to lose a lot of yardage to hit Travis, and Travis tries for a lefty backhand that gets blocked by David Yu. Brennan McCann with the disc hits David Yu. Yu puts up a scuba, but not able to connect. It's going to be another turnover for the Mechanix. Keenan Plew and Keegan North working the disc. Find Spencer Loscar down the field now. A little hammer over the top, finds Levi Jacobs, and he's going to put up a huck to Cameron Brock. who skies for the score. Levi Jacobs to Cameron Brock.
You know, it's really fun to watch Cameron Brock climb the ladder. He does it so often and with such ease.
Anytime the disc is in the air and it's Cameron Brock one-on-one, I almost can guarantee a score for the AlleyCats. I'm so confident in him because he does it time and time again. That's his 4th goal of the game, and silently just building up a big game.
You know, and for all the old Indianapolis Colts fans, Cameron reminds me of Marvin Harrison, who knows he's been there about 1,000,000 times there in the end zone. He'll catch the disc, he'll toss it back to the line. Now, he does get excited. If the game is on the line, he'll throw down a spike, but most of the time he just throws it right back over to the goal line and trots off the field like he's done it 1,000,000 times before.
Yeah, probably gets boring when you score 10 million goals.
Well, when you're the all-time leading scorer in the AUDL, you've been there a few times.
Yeah. Mechanix Huck goes a bit Blady. Kip Curtis comes down with it for the AlleyCats. They work it to Donovan Triplett. Alex Henderson with the disc. He puts it up to the end zone for Peter Carlton. Carlton able to come down with it with the back line approaching.
One more tally on the stat sheet for Peter Carlton.
Carlton having a big game. 4 assists, 2 goals. And Carlton not necessarily one of your AlleyCats stars, but, you know, again, their depth really showing this year. Everyone making contributions, everyone making big plays, and that's part of why this team has done so great and is going to be tied for the lead in the Midwest Division. AlleyCats with a big pull. Mechanix put up the Huck right away. And that's going to be number 61, Tate Halbert, getting open in the end zone.
That was a good Huck, too. He got behind the defense. Colin Ringwood was trying to catch up, but just couldn't do it. And that's
number 12, Jay Kinzel on the assist. That's a big throw.
Again, about a 75, 80-yard Huck.
From a standstill.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
It is impressive.
It's a quick connection from the Mechanix. Just trying to get our scoring average up.
You know, if there's any viewers, too, who, if this is their first time viewing Ultimate, you know, it's so much fun to watch, and the beauty of the disc in the air, and the ability that these guys have, the athleticism they have, of course, and the ability to throw the disc, 70, 80 yards on a dime, like you said, from a standstill. This is what hooked me to the sport.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I first started throwing, I could throw like 10 yards, maybe 15 yards. And you get to see great players out here throwing the disc 70, 75 yards. It's awesome. It's a beautiful thing to see. Disc doesn't fly like a ball or anything else. So it's just something that's super unique. Cameron Brock gets open in the back of the end zone, and he comes down with it, towing the line. It's going to be a great throw by Levi Jacobs.
Almost thought he was going to run out of room, but of course it's Cameron, so he goes up, climbs the ladder, pulls it down, and is still able to get in bounds with 2 feet. Really no worry at the end of the day.
He basically lives in the end zone. He knows exactly where that back line is. I don't think he even had to look at it.
Cameron before the game sits at number 4 on the current leaders of the AUDL in goals, right behind Rick Gross. Cameron had 39 coming into the game, and he's got
5 today.
5 today. So right now, he has leapfrogged Rick Gross because, you know, Gross only has 1 in the end zone right now.
Yeah, Rick has only seen the end zone once today. So Cameron's not got much further he can go up the leaderboard, but he's certainly putting in a good effort today. Oh, Nick Hutton gets in the way of a huck attempt. D's it. Donovan Triplett picking up the disc. Alex Henderson works up the line. He finds an inside throw. Great inside throw to hit Peter Carlton. Oh, Carlton tries to hit an inside throw to Donovan Triplett, but can't quite get him. Mechanics pick up the disc. Aaron Schwartz comes up with a D, tips it away, and then Peter Carlton picks it up. Aaron Schwartz and Donovan Triplett playing catch down the sideline. Finds Kip Curtis wide open. Donovan finds Alex Henderson in the end zone. Alex Henderson, the high schooler, 4th goal of the game.
I mean, there's not much more you can say about this Cats team today. I mean, they're playing really well, you know, clicking on all cylinders. You know, they've got a full roster over there on that sideline, and you know, they're just rotating people in and out, finding what lines work, and really using this probably as a time to see who plays well with who, you know, in a real game situation.
The AlleyCats keeping up the pace, too, by the way. 5 goals in 5 minutes here in the 4th quarter. What a way to roll. Mechanics with the disc. And that's going to be a throwaway early. Connor Lucas picks up the disc. Swing strike. Finds Michael Ames now. Ames with a defender all in his face. Rick Gross with the disc. Oh,
Colton Steiner about had that.
His teammates aren't going to let him live that one down. Nathan Busberg using his length on the mark. Rick Gross steps into the throwing lane. Knocks down the huck attempt.
Yes, one thing they're doing a ton of in this hybrid is just completely not respecting the sideline. So I think we can start hitting sideline hooks.
And then the AlleyCats find Rick Gross in the end zone. Rick Gross adds another goal.
Well, he heard us saying that Cam was creeping past him, so he didn't want to. He wanted to maintain his 1-goal lead on him. Gonna need a couple more though.
Connor Lucas finds Rick Gross in the end zone. Yeah, Rick Gross coming back for Cam. See if he begs Coach Leonard to play a little bit more and regain that lead over Cam.
So while we've got a quick break in the action, we'll say the winner of the Layout Ultimate Gloves is Nathan Hirschberger. Congratulations and enjoy the Layout Gloves. Layout Ultimate, what the pros wear. Congratulations, Nathan. Enjoy the gloves. We'll shoot you a DM and get your address and enjoy those gloves.
Great win for Nathan. He's going to enjoy those gloves.
Yeah, when I saw his name come across, you know, I was thinking of Nathan Busberger, who was out there on the field, and I said, wait a minute. He's playing and tweeting us. Great D.
Aaron Schwartz with a run through D. Nick Hutton saves his throw. Oh, fakes the hammer. And then puts it up the line for Alex Henderson, but it gets knocked down. Oh. Nick Hutton tries to get a layout D, but goes all into the back of Brendan McCann. And that's going to be an AlleyCats foul. Brendan McCann with the disc. Works around to the center of the field to David Yu. Parker Howard with the disc, works it up. McCann again. McCann working really hard with this Mechanix offense right now, as he has been for most of the second half. And that's going to be Parker Howard putting up the hammer. And he finds Ryan Mario in the end zone for the score. It's the 5th goal of the game for Ryan Mario.
It was a good look, too. It was a good cut in the end zone. It was that hammer that's been working for everybody all day. And Mario, in his post-score celebration, throws it up there in the goal post. Grand Park, home of the Indianapolis Colts Summer League. Or not Summer League, what am I thinking? Their mini camps here up at Grand Park. We've got a little makeshift goal post over there. Adam Vinatieri be kicking some field goals over there here in a couple weeks.
Detroit Mechanix with a pull. Keegan North gonna get that for the AlleyCats and center it to Keenan Plew. Keenan showing some patience after his initial options got shut down. Finds Travis Carpenter. AlleyCats get it to the near sideline with Keenan Plew. Spencer Loscar wide open, uncovered right now. Blade across the field to Travis Carpenter is going to open up the offense. Finds Rick Gross. IO forehand. Keegan North with the disc. Spencer Loscar finds Levi Jacobs on the sideline. Hammer across the field. Keenan Plew not able to get there. Mechanix working the disc pretty patiently now.
This might be the longest point of the game.
Very well could be.
Point started at the 4:43 mark. We're getting ready to hit 2 minutes.
Keenan picks up the disc. And he's going to put it up for Cameron Brock. Cameron Brock scores. That's his 6th goal of the game. Classic connection. Keenan Plew to Cameron Brock. Cameron's 6th goal of the game.
Say that was his 6th goal of the game?
6th goal of the game for Cam.
Puts him at 429 goals in his career.
What a career.
That is an impressive number.
The AlleyCats with a big lead now. David Yu with the disc in the center of the field for the Mechanix. Puts it up to Tate Halbert. Mechanix working the disc back and forth around the field. And Parker Howard puts up another hammer. He finds Tate Halbert in the end zone. Back-to-back hammer assists for Parker Howard.
Watch the AUDL game of the week at watchseason.com or check your local listings. June 30th, 7 p.m.
Discstore.com is a proud supporter and sponsor of this broadcast. Pick up your next disc from Discstore.com. Discstore.com provides the best prices on the team jerseys, guaranteed. Ask about the AUDL discount at Discstore.com. Discstore, another one of our great providers. Great group of guys. Great jerseys.
You know, a broadcast like this can't happen without those supporters. I know you see them there, and then on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, they've been scrolling through, you know, Layout Ultimate, BE Ultimate, Disc Store, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance locally. You know, those sort of things, those sort of sponsors that come forward and they support, you know, broadcasts like this, and you know, we are very appreciative of them, and you know, we love doing this, and we couldn't do it. There are costs to everything, and you know, they help us make this happen. Yeah,
Discstore, I'm a huge fan of Discstore. They work with me. I host D3 Midwestern Invite, and they help me out providing jerseys for the tournament. Great group of guys, great customer service. Just, you know, very, very friendly guys to work with. So I really appreciate them. AlleyCats working up the field. Keegan North puts up a blade to Keenan Plew. Easy offense for the AlleyCats. Keenan, that was his third goal of the game, one of those being the Callahan in the third quarter. Great game all around for a majority of these AlleyCats players. We have John Jones. He's got five goals, 1 assist. Donovan Triplett, 5 assists, 2 goals. Travis Carpenter with 4 assists. Peter Carlton with 4 assists and 2 goals. Lots of players. Cameron Brock, can't forget about him. 6 goals and 1 assist to go along with it. Mechanix working the disc. Mechanix find Parker Howard in the back of the end zone to score.
He was all by himself. It looked like Kip Curtis might have stumbled a bit on D. I don't know if you'll be able to see him here in this replay, but oh, yeah, you see him just there for a minute. He stumbled and couldn't quite recover, and all alone there in the end zone. We've got 1 minute and 22 seconds left. AlleyCats 38-20, commanding lead. Good show tonight. A way to continue the momentum from last week's, thriller.
Yeah, they had a slow start early. At one point, it was 6-5, and it looked like Mechanix were going to come out, and it was going to be a tight game. But then AlleyCats really turned it on. A couple of big runs, pushed it out, and yeah.
So with 1 minute 17 left, let's see if the Cats decide to just work the clock. There's no taking a knee in Ultimate, so let's see if they can do the equivalent of just kind of passing it around, work the clock. Or it looks like they might be attacking.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to attack. They're probably going for 40, or maybe Rick Gross is just trying to make sure Keenan doesn't catch him. Rick Gross on the receiving end on a throw from Travis Carpenter.
You see Rick box out, use his body, use his positioning. is there to bring in that disc. 57 seconds left.
39-20, AlleyCats lead.
We're up to 2.5 hours on this game. Well, almost 2.5 hours. Our final broadcast of the 2018 AUDL season will be Saturday, July 23rd, as the Minnesota Wind Chill travel to Indianapolis. That'll be the last game of the season for the AlleyCats. They've got 3 more after this. Wind Chill will be here in the last game. I don't know what I was trying to say there. We'll have all the action right here on UniversePointProductions.com, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting end to the season for the AlleyCats. We got a real chance at taking first place in the division. You know, this is going to secure a playoff spot for us. And once you make the playoffs, anything can happen. So, a real great season, and AlleyCats should be excited going forward. Hopefully they bring the same level of intensity. The crowd goes wild as Jesse Jenkins reels in his first goal of the game.
Jesse Jenkins has a big contingency here tonight, it sounds like.
Yeah, he's a Liquid Hustle player, and Liquid Hustle really likes to cheer on their players. That's Colin Ringwood finding Jesse Jenkins down the sideline. And with that goal by Jesse Jenkins, every AlleyCats player reeled in some sort of stat tonight.
That's impressive.
Every player on the roster contributing.
I'm glad you were able to keep these stats tonight, because I get too into the game and I start watching, and all of a sudden I forget who threw the assist. And fantastic job tonight, Zach.
Stats are fun, man. Stats are fun. AlleyCats pulling. Peter Carlton puts the disc up.
We're at 15 seconds on the clock.
Mechanix put up a big hammer with time running out. Aaron Schwartz and John Jones there. Sandwich the cutter deep. And that'll bring this game to an end. Indianapolis AlleyCats take down the Detroit Mechanix 40-20. Really dominant showing for the AlleyCats overall. You know, the D-line got rolling early, and they just didn't stop.
And, you know, with that win there, too, that clinches a spot in the AUDL playoffs for the first time since, I want to say, 2013. It's been a long drought for the Cats, and it's long, well-deserved. This team has been playing together for many, many years now, and you know, really gelling at the right time and prepared to hopefully make a run in the playoffs. With 3 games left, it's nice. Got the monkey off their back last week with a win over the Radicals, and you know, now they've got that that playoff spot clinched.
Yeah, playoff spot clinched. BE Ultimate Better Than Ever play of the game. Here we go. Let's take a look at our BE Ultimate Better Than Ever play of the game. Keenan Plew picking up a Callahan here in the third quarter.
Well, let's try that again. That's my mistake there.
Let's try that again. Let's take a look at our BE Ultimate Better Than Ever play of the game.
Here it is. Keenan Plew with his Callahan.
Chases the disc down. This is right after a turnover. And, you know, no better way to redeem yourself than picking up a Callahan. Runs through, picks it up, thanks to BE Ultimate.
Absolutely.
That was our BE Ultimate Better Than Ever play of the game. BE Ultimate putting a different spin on Ultimate apparel by focusing on high-performance fabrics, quality workmanship, and rapid turnaround time. They are Ultimate players making Ultimate gear for the Ultimate community. Visit their website at beultimate.com.
Well, Zach, that's the end of our broadcast. Another great game for the AlleyCats. It was great working with you. You know, we kind of got thrown together here at the last second, but had a great time.
Yeah.
You did fantastic. I mean, for only your second game, I'm glad you hopped in the booth with us.
Hey, this is fun. This is a fun game. I'm really excited to see the rest of the AlleyCats season. I was really excited to get to see Rand Park. So, lots of great things tonight.
Absolutely. And again, you watched the Detroit Mechanix versus Indianapolis AlleyCats here on Universe Point Productions, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Good night, everybody.